Live and rolling once again. This is me talking at the tempo of the music. This is Road Gang Radio with Jimmy Mack and Lindsay Lawler.
You can be contrapuntal. You know that, by the way. You can actually move against the current of the river. It's
what
okay.
does contrapuntal mean? I don't understand.
Oh, you understand that. You know what contrapuntal is.
Jimmy and his big words.
A big
I
word.
don't get it. I need the toilet paper. The word of the day, toilet paper. Use it in a sentence, please. Oh, wait, you just did. Phone a friend. I am. Tell me what it means. I mean, I get it, but can you tell me like a definition of it?
Contrapuntal is an opera term, and all it means is it's also a composition and orchestrational term that it actually means.
Listen, you can't describe the word and make it sound more. Make me ask for more words.
Describe word with bigger words.
Yeah.
You're
dumb me down.
Okay, basically,
or dumb you down.
It's
rather.
like basically if the music is a river and you're swimming against the stream, you're being contrapuntal. How about that?
I'm still lost. Let's talk to our guest.
Drowning.
Just when I think I've got everything figured out, Jimmy Mack makes me feel dumb again. Welcome to Road Gang Radio. That's what it's all about.
Go on.
Okay. God, poor Ben, as our guest is listening. He's like, God, I have to talk to these two idiots. What
Click.
am I doing here this morning? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going through a tunnel. I think I lost you.
Okay, go on, please, Lindsay.
Okay, guys. I'm so excited for today's guest because this guy is doing something really, really special, and I can't stress that enough, not just for music, but for mental health, healing, and the whole dang soul of the industry. You know this is my jam. Ben Anderson is the founder of the Park City Song Summit, which is a one-of-a-kind music experience nestled in the mountains of Utah. Take me there, please. It's not your average festival. It's about deep conversations. Let's see if anything sounds familiar, guys. Deep conversations, vulnerability, recovery, the transformative power of song. I could live in this world forever. Think Songwriter Circle meets a wellness retreat meets a rock show in a ski town. Please. Yes. Thank you. So Ben left a successful 30-year legal career. Yes, legal, to create this passion project. And y'all, it's been making waves, so much so that he was just named one of Spin Magazine's 25 most influential people in music. No big deal. What have you done with your life? The summit features artists like Marcus King, Dawes, Love, Greensky Bluegrass, Goose, so many more, guys. So many across so many genres. We're throwing genre out the window. Please make welcome to the show as we talk about this amazing experience. My new friend and yours, Ben Anderson, who's doing the Lord's work of music and healing and music. Good morning, friend.
Good morning. Wow, after that amazing intro, I feel like I'll just record that, and that's my elevator speech now. You guys are fun, man. No, I'm stoked to be on your show and honored. It's a great Tuesday. It's a great Tuesday to be on Road Gang. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
Jimmy, we got rice cooking in the microwave. It's a great day to be alive.
It's a great day to be alive, by the way. And so let's just get cooking. So as Lindsay and I are both the children of attorneys, so we understand, and
we sympathize.
And we sympathize. Can you and we don't sympathize in regards to having been raised by those wonderful men. We just understand what they had to go through. Can you kind of talk about your own personal journey? Because we were talking with Dr. Ben Kligro of the Veterans Affairs, and he pointed out the fact that the necessity to breathe, to kind of be present of where you're headed next. What was the breath like for you? Can you talk about the idea when you took that breath and decided you wanted to head off in this direction?
Ooh.
Yeah, great questions. I think there's probably a few different breaths in there, and one was that I didn't come from means, so I knew that coming from a small town in Tennessee, that I would have to really rely on doing well in school, being a personable guy that could get jobs at everything under the sun, from working on a farm to working on a factory to just being, making a living, to getting scholarships to where I could do what I wanted to do, which was to be an attorney, but I also wanted to play music. I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? So, but I just knew that attorneys could argue really well, and I could, and that they, if they were successful enough, they could make some money, and I didn't have any of that. So I was like, okay, that's a great route. And I really worked hard to get those scholarships and to go through and to do these things. And by all outside eyes or objective measures, I had, quote unquote, succeeded. I had a family. I had the fancy car, the fancy house. I was doing well at my job as an attorney, and but I had this underlying little thing called the disease of alcoholism that I just thought was something that people did, and it's how they, were entitled to release at the end of the day or whatever. But when the end of the day became the beginning and the middle and the end of the day, I was asked to, leave my law firm. I was asked to leave my house, all these things that I'd worked so hard for and, should have been just so appreciative of. They slipped through my fingers as I, turned to what I thought was my best friend, which was the bottle. And in fact, it was the worst demon, but it sure clothed itself very well as being my best friend. So when I finally took a breath, back to your question, and was like, there's an easier way to live here, and I don't have to drink, I don't have to do other things to have fun. I can have fun by just being who I am and being grateful that I woke up today and that, I am alive and well and that I have opportunity for whatever time I'm given on this planet. That was a big moment for me in learning that loving myself, forgiving myself, understanding my condition, and then the most important part of, a life of recovery is being of service and reaching out and helping the next gal, the next guy, whatever. So that was the first big breath. And then at the end of 30 years of being a trial lawyer, trying cases against, Fortune 50 companies, year after year, day after day, being on the road and having record settlements and verdicts and really having a second lease on life in my legal career, I was exhausted and said, I got to take a breath here. Literally, I got to find something else. And so whatever I thought of as retirement quickly went away. And, I have a lot of friends in the music industry. I've been a musician my entire life. I love live music. I'm an old deadhead. I've seen thousands of live shows of all varieties, love all kinds of music. So I was sitting with my friend Anders Osborne and my wife, and we were backstage at at one of his shows and Lucas Nelson's shows, and it was just like, man, we're losing so many people to this. Somebody's got to do something. Let's do something that's way different when it comes to what a traditional music festival has become. And he's like, and you're the guy to do it. I'm like, what? I don't know anything about running a music festival, the music industry, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, man, you got to do it. So that was the breath. It was just like, wow, there's this calling and an opportunity to be of service of something that I love, which is live music and musicians and their touring groups and the unsung heroes behind them. And wow, we could really make a difference in a space that for so long has been sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and the 27 Club, and all these folks who've, as Neil Young said when he described Needle and the Damage Done, we've lost so much creativity into the ground because of addiction, right? And so it's like, okay, maybe that falls to me. So that top 25 list you're talking about, I am convinced somebody lost their job over that. I'm like, how did I end up on the same list as some of these pioneers and these wonderful folks? I should probably be on the top 25 list of folks most unlikely to create a disruptor in the longstanding, music festival business and to actually have a measure of success. But I figured that title was probably too long for Spin Magazine, so they just stuck me on this other one.
You need a really big business card for that.
Yes. So those were my breaths that I took. And, we're in our fourth year of Song Summit, but really fifth year because we did a year in 2019 pre-pandemic. So this is kind of that year that I feel like we're starting to get a little bit of a breeze at our back, dare I say. We've staked our claim on doing something different. And that is, listen, if somebody wants to get hammered or, do whatever their drug of choice is, whatever, that's fine. But what we set out to do is say, well, what about those of us who don't choose that life and we need something healthier or else we end up in the middle of the street naked with the cops chasing us, right? And that's having great alternative beverages to alcohol. And that could be for people that drink or don't drink, to have clean rooms as well as green rooms for artists that need something that doesn't have alcohol or cigarettes or drugs in it. We have a clean room. We have wellness meetups for both artist and audience. We have artist wellness lounge for Reiki, massages, things that they just don't get on the road to just like let them have some peace. We have guided hikes and one-on-ones with therapists for them and for our audience if they want them. we have these talks. Our labs are really our special sauce, right? Those are the differentiator between us and your traditional festival, is that the artists that you're going to hear from at night and dance to, or maybe that you love and you hear on the radio all the time, who are they as humans? What are their challenges? And you get to see that, wow, they're just like me. They write songs about these feelings, and now I understand that. Like, I really feel like setting the day with our morning wellness, with yoga, meditation, sound baths, and centering and morning mindfulness, followed by labs where we go into a room and we connect in a very special way with artist-led conversations, and then we dance at night and we just let all that love flow. I always say to my team, lead with love. The rest will take care of itself, right? And that's what we're trying to be, as an example of a different way that you could hold a music festival, a way different way to experience it. And that is, let's think about the artist and their touring camps as an ecosystem that is like a fragile bowl that we've got to be more protective of. You know, we've been talking for 30 years now about breast cancer, whereas before that, especially coming from the Bible Belt, no one said the word breast or cancer. And it's like, why? And so now we can talk about, a race that's a run for the Tatas to raise money. The NFL wears pink, so we can talk about breast cancer awareness. We need to be talking about mental health awareness and the disease of addiction and substance challenges and trauma the same way. So we've planted our flag there. It was a little flag, and that flag seems to be getting a whole lot of other flags around it. And you put enough small flags on the hill, people can see it from a long ways away. So we're definitely in a lane that is sort of by ourselves. We hope that's not always the case. We are starting to see at other festivals people having IV and having recovery meetups and having therapists on board for the artists. I'm not saying we're a direct cause of that. I'm just happy to be at the forefront of this movement. And I'll die on that hill. I really will. That we all need to start with loving ourselves, forgiving ourselves, and loving others, and having music be the powerful platform to connect us, because this world seems to be more and more divided every day. And if we can use music for some part of healing to move the human experience forward, well, then good on us.
Yeah. Well, Ben, I will meet you on that hill. I will die with you, because we're right there with you. Everything you said. And so many things to unpack here. I wish this interview was 9 hours long, because I think we could talk forever. Let me first just say, when you humbly said somebody should be fired for putting you on that list, obviously that's a joke. That's why. But I think that I believe when your passion meets your purpose, boom. When you're doing something that fills you up and also helps other people, boom. That's the holy grail right there. So, and you didn't set out to be like, I want to be a powerful music festival owner. Like, that wasn't your intention behind it. Was something, intention is everything, as Oprah Winfrey says. And, you've got this artist audience relationship that you're building, which is really a gold standard, I think. But I wasn't going to go here, but I want to do it real quick, because the timing of you talking of this conversation and the alcohol side of things. We just got back from visiting some friends and family on Cape Cod, and we have some friends that work in the restaurant business. And when you live in a tourist spot that also gets sort of dark and dismal in the winter, it can be depressing. And a friend of mine has a husband that is battling, that he's an alcoholic, and she's like, I realize I've been an enabler of this for 23 years. And I said, let me guess, it's easier for you not to do something, because when you realize you're going to do something, especially as either the spouse or the friend of somebody, it's like, I can let him keep doing that, but if I don't, it means we have to change our entire life. And I think that's the overwhelming piece, especially and I'm an artist and songwriter as well, and have been around that world for so long, and played in downtown Nashville, where it's and toured, and it's like we're the one job where it's appropriate or accepted to be drunk on the job, which is really weird. But it's a thing. And when you realize, God, if I change that, this shifts everything. So I bring that up because I just want to ask you your take, Ben, on and you've kind of already set it up for what we're going here to do, but to give people the freedom to say, okay, I'm going to this thing, because it's like, okay, if I'm not going to drink, who am I? What am I going to do? How am I even going to be social? And I think that happens in songwriting too. It's like, what am I going to write about if I'm not drunk, writing about the drunk times in the bar? I think you can still write about those experiences in the past, because now the beauty is you just remember it. So just as both a musician and the festival creator, but also a festival goer and a music goer yourself, talk about how you kind of set yourself up for success to still have fun and enjoy it and be like, no, this isn't going to be boring. This is going to be that sort of cheesy high on life experience, right?
Yeah, so I'm a hard charging person. I'm either full on or full off, right? And so my personality, my genetic predisposition is to being someone who is like, let's go. Well, that gusto, that joie de vivre, that's like, to enjoy life, I've got to drink like a fish and I got to party. And it's like, yeah, and a lot of songwriters, I hear this all the time, like, well, what am I going to do, man? Who am I going to hang out with? It's just like, I had all those same feelings, right? And so what you find out is that, wow, you can actually write songs about those times, but you have the clarity to come up with an even more creative chord structure, or the words are more meaningful because it shows wisdom of looking back at that time rather than the misery of being in the middle of that time, right?
Yeah.
And so you get to share what it was like and what it's like now, and you can even bring a bit of humor to it, or the sadness is okay. So Anders Osborne does a great job of this, the echoes of my sins coming down. A lot of his songs are about recovery, send me a friend, right? And it's like, we hear that a lot. It's like, if you were able to do all these great things under the cloud of addiction, imagine how great it can be if you remove those things and give yourself a chance. So what we always say is, tell you what, try it for 90 days. And if you don't like it, you can have your pain back, right? And so one of those things is, I knew that I was like, I love to go to concerts, but I have to put that off for a little while. And I did for a little while, right? And then I was like, you know what? I should be able to do this. And it is just as much, if not more fun, because I am present. I see what's going on around me. And addiction can be it's a very selfish thing. And so that's why your friend who feels like she's enabling, the disease of addiction affects everyone around us, right? And so it's like, now that disease has made this woman feel like it's her fault in some way, or if she'd have done this or she'd have done that, and now the whole system feels broken. And that's what, when you get one person, when you can help one person find the light and change their way and make different choices, it affects hundreds of people in their orbit, not only the ones that are currently in their orbit, but the ones that they will meet along the way, because service begets service. Helping people begets helping people, right? And so that's what we try to do here. It's just like, look, if we can be of service to the industry, we can be of service to others, right? And so I like what you said, too, about Cape Cod and the culinary industry, because now we are branching out because there's a real nexus between the mental health challenges of those who work in the restaurant industry, celebrity chefs, those that are in Olympic sports and performance athletes, the isolation, the need to perform, the pressure that people are under. There are higher incidences of suicidal ideation, mental health challenges, trauma in the music industry, culinary arts, performing arts, sports, film, you name it, right? And so now this year we're starting to branch into those other areas. Chef Andrew Zimmern will be here this year. We have professional surfers here this year, and documentarians, and Imagine Entertainment will be here this year. So we are branching out into those other areas because there is a thread that runs through mental wellness, and it goes to a lot of our professions. And at the end of the day, it's about community, connection, and kindness, so that we can be more creative humans. And my life changed. My whole life changed when I had help, and I wanted the help, got the help. My life completely changed. I was kicked out of my house, kicked out of my firm. I was on the verge of bankruptcy, and now I get to enjoy this wonderful life, including talking to you guys today. And hopefully in some way one of your listeners hears this and says, you know what, I should probably go talk to somebody, or you know what, that's on them, not on me.
Or just come, or have them just come to the festival and just see that you can hear your favorite artist and remember it.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of our artists are in recovery. Some of them aren't, but It's just the people that come to Song Summit, be it on the artist side of things or on the audience, there is a vibe that is indescribable, but it's very tangible. And when you get here, you go, wow, this is way different. And when I hear that time and time again, I go, oh, that to me is the measure of success. ROI.
Keep going.
Return on impact. Return on impact, right? The money will hopefully one of these days catch itself. I tell people it's the most expensive job I've ever had, but in my mind, it's worth it. And sooner or later, it will catch on. And I know that there's different cities and different venues now that have approached me saying, could you bring this Song Summit vibe to our event, to our town, et cetera? And I'm like, well, let me finish year 5 and we'll talk about it. But that is also a measure of just reward for me to go, wow, being of service is very contagious. You know,
Jim, he's doing it. Just so you know, Ben, my dad is listening. My dad, the attorney, as Jim said earlier, he just texted me and said, "I'm so inspired by Ben. Maybe I can shift my 56 years of law and do this in Nashville like Ben." So you're inspiring attorneys to get out of the racket.
Well, Ben,
excellent. Let me tell your dad. Please read a new book called No More Tears. And one of the cases there against a certain pharmaceutical manufacturer was my baby, and that was my last 10 years of my career. And after that, it was like, you know what? I'm ready to move on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's quite all right. And one of the things I want to point out, too, that often art is an exploration of darkness. And by the way, just to kind of let you know, Ben Anderson joins us this morning. Ben, I'm sober 31 years. And one of the things that I often tell people is that because art is an exploration of darkness, darkness is terrifying. So a lot of people actually use substances in the beginning to go there because they are scared, because finding the courage to go there sober is very, very difficult. What I often tell people, artists who are sobering up, is I love to say, I understand that it's scary, but don't ever forget, when you go into the darkness, sober knows the way out a whole lot better. And that's one of the most crucial things that people need to understand is that, yes, it doesn't take as much courage when you're gassed up to the nines to wander into a dark, dangerous place. There's a good chance, though, that you wake up and you realize you don't know how to get back home. Whereas when you enter into a dangerous space, which is where art is created and exists, and you walk in there under the courage of your own sobriety, you can go there and then figure out a way to get home because you've actually left a map for yourself. And in many ways, I feel like that's what this festival is doing. It's actually giving people a map saying, look at all this great work, look at all this good feeling. You can have just as good of a time. And I don't mean that from an up with people sort of way, because anybody that's heard Dawes' When My Time Comes knows that that's a song written from a very dark place. And there's a lot of great artists who are roiling around in here, including your friend Anders Osborne, who is terrific.
So good.
There's a lot of good stuff happening over here. And I hate to ask this question, what are you most looking forward to? Is there a particular performance at this upcoming festival that you were really gassed and jonesed about?
His own.
Yeah, I'll tell you. The opening night will have Dwayne Betts and Marcus King and Eric Krasno and a bunch of other great musicians. And I just know that there's going to be collaboration there with some guitar giants and legends in the making. That's going to be mind-blowing. I love LPGOB so much. She is the finale on Saturday night, and she's doing a Dead House set. And I got to meet her and hang out with her down at this festival, Viva El Gonzo in Mexico, which I have a house there, and so it's literally in our backyard. It's this beautiful festival. It's kind of centered around the band Goose, which is one of my favorite bands since Jerry died. It's the one I connect with the most since 1995. And so this festival, I got to meet her and see her, and her energy is just contagious. I love Goose. And they'll be the first band that's doing 2 sets. And we've had a lot of big bands, as you've seen from our past lineups, but can't get enough of them. But I got to tell you, Dawes, Taylor, and Griff are my homies. They're great people. And Eric Krasno, he's our creative director. Kraz is just amazing. I think what you're going to see is the Holly Bowling, who's one of the great pianists out there now. She's playing with Greensky Bluegrass right after Dawes. Dwayne Betts used to play with Dawes. Dawes and Goose have played together a number of times. The guys in Goose love the Dawes guys. So what I'm most excited about are the collaborations that even I don't know are coming. I know there's a lot of talk behind the scenes, and I don't want to know what they are because I want to be as surprised as everyone else. But the collaborations are where, to me, that is sort of that Grateful Dead, jam band, jazz experience where they just get up there and they create art in real time that even they don't know what's about to happen. That's my jam. That is where it's like real musicianship and conversation going on. Most of these artists that I choose, that's what they get into. There's moments where it's just like before there, it was just air and space and birds and bees and things. When they get there in that moment, they've created something that is impacting the thousands of people, depending on the room, maybe it's hundreds of people, but they're impacting people in that moment in a way that they didn't even know they were going to. To me, that is the magic of music and collaboration and love and connection. So it's the collaborations I think I'm looking most forward to. And this lineup, they all know each other. They've all either played with each other, recorded with each other, opened for one another. It was put together for a reason, right?
So
and when
cool.
people come, they will see the thread going through this, and it's about musicianship, collaboration, and connection. So
And
that's, I know that's not exactly probably what you wanted to hear because there's not one thing I can say.
No, that's exactly what I wanted
that's
to
exactly.
hear. That's it right there. By the way, I got bad news, and it's bad news for us as well too. We're out of time, man. This
Let's do this again sometime. Come to my house.
Yeah, we're coming over. Well, because what's so cool, but people need to understand, and by the way, please go to parkcitySongSummit.com to find out more. We'll post it. This is the kind of thing that I with work being busy and having a young child, it's like you have to pick and choose what you do. These are one of the things that I'd be like, okay, now that's something I would make space for, because it's so great. And I think the kind of pairing artists like you're doing, it's going to invite I would assume spontaneous creativity even on
spontaneous
stage.
combustion. Sorry.
And spontaneous combustion. And real quick before we lose you, I'm just curious if have you seen moments? This can be a quick answer, but like where you see the artist's life change, or maybe somebody like, oh my God, I wrote a song while I was there that I was inspired to release. I'm sure you've seen that happen, right?
Yes.
Cool.
After our event, John Craigie and Langhorne Slim got together and they toured. When we set the lineup for My Morning Jacket and Nathaniel Rateliff playing one night after the next, all of a sudden they announced a co-tour that they did. And then I'll say one of the nicest things, and of course I can't mention names, but one of the things that's the nicest is when I hear from people who are either at recovery centers or they're therapists or they are the actual artist camps themselves, that after Song Summit they went and got help either from somebody in the audience or somebody that played on those stages, and they went and got help, and they're now 1 year, blah, 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 fill in the blank of treatment
awesome.
of one sort or another. To me, that's success. And if one person finds that help they need, then that's what we're trying to do, right?
Boom. Well, this is amazing. ParkCitySongSummit.com. Ben Anderson, we're launching a show next week called We Should Write, which is my show about the healing power of writing with equal parts absurdity and vulnerability. I would love to have you back to dive in on that sometime if you would have us. And I'm asking you on the air so that you can't say no.
So much fun. Are you kidding me? This is the journey right here. This is what makes this thing that I took on, this breath that you mentioned early on. This is what makes it worthwhile. Is moments like this, like how blessed am I? How filled with gratitude I am that I started my day with you two to be able to talk about this. So thank you. The honor's mine, and I will come on anytime you want me to.
Yay!
Thank you, sir. Ben Anderson, by the way. Well done, sir. Thank you very much.
So good. Well, how fun, man. That's right up our alley. Thank you, Ben. Have the best of days. I know you will. You've got that vibe.